Did you know this miracle in American history? With Boston freed from British occupation, New York was the next target. Washington's ranks swelled to 20,000 as he fortified Brooklyn Heights. Citizens in New York pulled down the statue of King George, and classes were suspended at King's College, which was later renamed Columbia University. Anxiety mounted as the British assembled the largest invasion force in history up to that date, 32,000 troops on over 400 ships. The thousands of wooden masts in New York Harbor looked like a forest of trees. Washington wrote to his younger brother, John Augustine Washington, May 31st, 1776, "We expect a very bloody summer of it at New York. We are not either in men or arms prepared for it. If our cause is just, as I do most religiously believe it to be, the same providence, which has in many instances appeared for us, will still go on to afford us its aid." General Washington ordered May 15, 1776, the Continental Congress, having ordered a day of fasting, humiliation, and prayer, humbly to supplicate the mercy of Almighty God, that it would please him to pardon all our manifold sins. The general commands all soldiers to pay strict obedience to the orders of the Continental Congress, that by their pious observance of their religious duties, they may incline the Lord and giver of victory to prosper our arms. On July 9th, 1776, messengers from Philadelphia brought a copy of a recently passed Declaration of Independence. Washington had it read to his troops. It acknowledged God 4 times, laws of nature and of nature's God. All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, and a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. Washington expected the British to attack from the sea, as they did at Bunker Hill. Instead, 10,000 British troops landed a distance from New York, and a British loyalist led them through Jamaica Pass, marching all night long to make a surprise attack on the Continental Army from behind on August 27, 1776. An estimated 3,000 Americans were killed or wounded, compared to only 392 British casualties. The Battle of Brooklyn Heights was the first major battle after the Declaration, and it was the largest battle of the entire war. General Washington watched 400 brave soldiers of the 1st Maryland Regiment charge 6 times to their death directly into the British lines, allowing the rest of the Continental Army to find cover. Washington exclaimed, "Good God, what brave fellows I have lost this day." British General Howe trapped the American troops on Brooklyn Heights with their backs against the sea. That night, Washington made the desperate decision to evacuate his entire army by ferrying it across the East River to Manhattan Island. The sea was boisterous where the British ships were, but providentially calm in the East River, allowing Washington's boats to transport horses and troops and cannons. As the sun began to rise, half of the American troops were still in danger. But a miraculously thick fog lingered, blocking the evacuation from being seen by the British. Major Ben Talmadge, Washington's chief of intelligence, wrote, "As the dawn of the next day approached, those of us who remained in the trenches became very anxious for our own safety. And when the dawn appeared, there were several regiments still on duty. At this time, a very dense fog began to rise off the river, and it seemed to settle in a peculiar manner over both encampments. I recollect this providential occurrence perfectly well, and so very dense was the atmosphere that I could scarcely discern a man at 6 yards' distance. We tarried until the sun had risen, but the fog remained as dense as ever." General Washington was on the last boat that left Brooklyn Heights. The British never again had such an opportunity to catch the entire American army all at once. America is unique in world history, and it's important for us to remember these miracles in American history.